Hi everyone, my name is Peter Dove, author of Master Dressage and co-author of Master Dressage The Basics. We're just running a technical test for the series of 10 live webinars that we're going to do based on the lessons from the basics. So we're going to be covering things like position and alignment, turning, transitions, canter, groundwork, and an awful lot more as well with that. I'll be doing it with my coach, Mary Wanless, and also some other experts in the field as well. The first lesson is going to be on position and alignment. And in that lesson, we're going to be covering different faults in positions, what effect that has on the horse, and the pros and cons of the various positions that people tend to take up whilst they're riding. We'll be using Millie as a model, and Tinker will be filming in this arena and also in Mary's arena, and very occasionally we'll be mixing in some pre-recorded video as well, which you'll be able to watch on replay afterwards too. So one of the questions we can ask ourselves about our position and our alignment is how well they will stand up to acceleration and deceleration. And we can also ask ourselves, is the rider in balance over their feet? So we'll also look at busting myths such as, it's really important to have your heels down. If we take a rider and a horse and we make the horse disappear, we could ask ourselves, would the rider land on their own 2 feet? Would they fall forwards? Would they fall backwards? And that gives you a really good idea as to whether the rider is in balance over their feet. They should land on their feet and just drop down balanced over the feet. If the rider has their lower leg too far forward, so for instance we can put the lower leg forward like this, and even perhaps have the rider lean back. And in this kind of position we could imagine if the horse were to disappear out from underneath the rider would land on their heels and fall backwards. And whilst this rider has their heels down, it really is a very unstable position. Imagine perhaps we were to add acceleration into this picture too. You could imagine the rider having to rely on the reins and falling even further backwards. So during these webinars we'll be using multiple camera views. So we'll have several cameras. We'll have a long-term view and a close-up view as well. I'll be using a headset, so the quality of the sound will be really good. We'll be using a mixture of video and live lessons. You'll be able to chat in the chat window and ask me to repeat anything, see it from a different angle. And I think these lessons will be really valuable. You'll be able to learn a lot, and you'll be able to watch them over and over again. Because it's a series of 10 lessons, especially if you buy the entire series, if you don't manage to see a lesson live and you watch the replay, well, you can always ask us a question the very next lesson, for instance. And, Millie is pretty versatile, and we can get her to go and quickly demonstrate something for you. So I think that's about it. Follow the link below, and you'll be able to see a lot more information about what's going to be in the lessons, and how much it costs, and so on. This particular test that we've just done, well, we've had to put on the school lights. It's 3:45, it's getting dark outside, and you might just be able to hear that it's raining quite a lot outside as well. So this would really be the worst case scenario in terms of light, and I'll have a watch back of the video, and hopefully, even with this terrible light, you should be able to see quite clearly what's going on. So, position alignment, really important, and it isn't just about standing still either. We'll be talking about what happens when you go through into walk, up into trot, what happens in transitions, for instance, and you'll learn that the right position isn't a static thing. It's not something that you have and just have it in place. You'll always have to be making small adjustments. Some horses you'll have to feel a little bit more back, some horses a little bit more forward, and it really does depend on the way that the horse goes and the problems the horse presents to you. But the fundamentals are always going to remain the same. We'll be talking about the position for dressage, Jumping position is a little bit different. The leg is further forward, and you can imagine the reason for that with the lower leg further forward. When you go into your jumping position, you're more balanced over your feet. If you try to do your dressage position and then go forward into a jumping position, you'd be in a pretty precarious place. So follow the link below. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you all, to answering your questions, and really, you'll help shape these 10 lessons into something really valuable.